Let's talk about why I don't like the trap bar deadlift anymore. So I used to deadlift with the trap bar. And I'm going to give you a few tips that I've used to improve my straight bar deadlift and moving back to the straight bar and gaining some manhood and some balls. So, the 4 reasons why, from personal experience, I don't like the trap bar deadlift anymore. Reason number 1, the trap bar deadlift allows you to deadlift when you shouldn't be deadlifting. Now that's a tongue twister for you, ain't it? Here's what I mean. There's a reason why you don't like the straight bar deadlift. It's probably because you hurt yourself with it, yeah? So either you got a shit technique, you got a muscle that's not firing and doing its job, there's compensations, or you got a flexibility issue and then there's compensations again, or you got all 3 happening, you're all one fucked up ball. So, if you ignore those 3 things and continue to deadlift by moving over to the trap bar, something's gonna go, yeah? It's like that damn car service sign in your car. When you see it pop up, you dread it. And you ignore it for a little while, and then when something goes on it, you thought, shit, I should have got it serviced earlier, and I would have saved myself thousands of dollars on that mechanic bill. It's the same thing. If you ignore that you got something going wrong with your deadlift and you still continue to deadlift with a trap bar, something's gonna blow and you're gonna regret it later on. Fix the problem and then go back to the straight bar. Test it. If it's not fixed, go back again. Keep flip-flopping between the 2 until you fix the problem. The answer is not to ignore the problem and continue to deadlift with the trap bar. And the other thing too is that with the trap bar, you can generally do more squat. We'll get on that in a second. You can generally squat more weight. That's even worse. Second thing, I used to say this myself when I used the trap bar deadlift. I used to say that the trap bar deadlift's good because it allows you to get down to the bar a lot easier and keep a neutral spine in your back. In other words, what I was actually saying was that my flexibility sucks and I can't be bothered working on my flexibility, so I'm gonna ignore it and go to the trap bar deadlift instead. Back to that first reason. Flexibility is the issue, it's not the deadlift. Fix the flexibility issue, go back to the straight bar, keep tweaking it, keep playing around with it until you can get down to the bar in a safe position. The answer is not to ignore your flexibility issue and to continue to deadlift with the trap bar. The third reason, as I mentioned just before, most people squat the weight. So when I was at Andrew's place, Andrew Reed from Reed Performance Training, his business name is now, around Christmas time, we were talking about deadlifts and whatnot, and he mentioned the trap bar and whatnot. And he said, yeah, that for most people, they end up squatting the weight with the trap bar rather than deadlifting it. And I completely agree. In other words, and then what he actually said was, if you want to squat, squat. If you're going to deadlift, then deadlift. So for most people, because that straight bar isn't in front of the shins, you can shift your weight down more, you can shift your knees over your toes more and sit back into it a little bit more. Basically, for a squat, the hips need to be at least in line with the knees or lower. And this happens. Most people will go down to the bar and they'll be so low into the squat position, they'll end up using all their quads, very little hamstring and glute. That's not a deadlift. Deadlift is when your hips are slightly higher or really high than your knees, depending on how tall you are and your flexibility. But it's always hips higher than knees, not the other way around. That is a squat. And again, the trap bar deadlift allows you to do that. With a straight bar, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. The third thing, you can't hump the bar. And I don't like anything that I can't hump. So what I mean by this is that with the straight bar, basically you have a good feedback from the bar because you can lock the weight out and you can extend the hips until your hips hit the bar. You can't go any further, okay? And if you do, it's just leaning back and you'll know about it. So with the trap bar though, because there's no bar around you, you can overextend your hips, and I have done it before. You're gonna injure yourself, you're gonna injure your back, and it's gonna suck, especially when, again, you can load up on the trap bar and you can use a lot of weight. So essentially what it actually is kind of like you're flapping around in the wind, those hips. And it's just not nice. It doesn't feel safe. And again, you have no feedback of where the hips should stop. With the straight bar, you do. All right. There's the 4 reasons why I don't like the trap bar anymore. And actually the reason why I delayed this video is because I was selling my trap bars, so I didn't want anyone that was thinking of buying them off me to see this video of why I'm selling them. So to those that did buy the trap bars, sucked in, and thank you very much for your money. But I hope you don't hurt yourself. So watch this video and then sell them to someone else, some other dumb shit, and go back to straight bars. Anyways, here's, I think, 9 tips to improve your deadlift. I'm gonna run through this quick, I'm gonna talk quick, and I'm gonna run out of breath. First one, get rid of your shoes, okay? When you're in your shoes, basically, there's two big reasons. First thing is that you're a little bit taller, so it's gonna be harder for you, it's further for you to get down to the bar. So if we're talking about that flexibility thing again, well, here's a nice way to shave 2 inches off your height. Take out the shoes, get rid of them, deadlift barefoot. You're gonna be closer. The second thing is, because the heel is 1 to 2 inches high, it shifts your weight forward a little bit more. Therefore, when you go down to the deadlift position, you're gonna place a little bit more stress on the quads. Again, it's not a squat. You're here to train your posterior chain because we need more posterior chain work due to sitting down for the average Jane and Joe. So again, the shoes shift your weight a little bit more forward. You can't keep your weight back on your heels as much. You can't drive through your heels, therefore you can't turn on your glutes as much. Second thing, sorry, quick tip. So if you're at your public gym and you can't obviously go walk around barefoot, stand next to your straight bar. Deadlift with your shoes off, quickly put them back on while you're resting, take them off again, and keep going back and forth between that. That's the best way to deadlift barefoot at a public gym without getting caught. Other way, get Vibram 5 fingers. Yeah, good luck. What we got? I've got this all written down because there's so many fucking things. Stretch your hamstrings. Here's what that looks like. Stretch your hip flexors. Here's what that looks like. Stretch your hip flexors. Here's what that looks like. Fire up them glutes. So basically, again, the deadlift is a posterior chain exercise. You're supposed to use hamstring, glutes, and lower back, lats, traps, all that good stuff. So, where was I? When you fire up them glutes, they're gonna assist you a little bit better. For most people, when they get back pain, it's generally because the lower back's doing all the work when they deadlift, and the glutes have gone on a holiday altogether. So when you can fire up them glutes and get them working and get them woken, they're gonna assist in your deadlift a lot better. It's gonna feel stronger, and generally, provided that everything else is in check, lower back pain is gonna be minimal, if not none at all. If that makes sense. Here's a nice exercise that I do to fire up them glutes before I deadlift. Next one, pull down to the deadlift. So, Pavel talks this a lot with the goblet squat. What you can do, you can get a partner, hold you, excuse me while that car went past, hold you under your armpits, and then you have to fight against your partner's resistance because they're going to try and hold you up. You got to pull yourself down into the deadlift position. What this is doing is kind of like compacting a spring. See, when you compact a spring, it's loaded, it's tense, and then when you let go, boom, it explodes nice and quick and powerful. The same thing, when you can go down, pull yourself down into the deadlift and use your hip flexors and hamstrings and everything, generally you're going to feel stronger in that position. You're going to have a stronger deadlift and a safer deadlift too. Next one, we've got keep your weight over the bar. So again, back to that squatting thing. If someone's coaching you and stands on the side of your deadlift, generally the shoulder blade should be over top of the bar. That is a rough guide of where you should be positioned in the deadlift. If you can't get into that position, you got a flexibility issue. Fix it. Don't go to the trap bar deadlift. Rise is one. So in the RKC, we talk about, with the goblet squat, we talk about for most people with weak glutes and tight everything, they do a stripper squat. Now, no, I'm not going to show you what a stripper squat is. I'm never going to do that ever again. That's a one-time thing. Where was I? So most people do like a stripper deadlift, I guess we can call it. So basically their hips shoot up in the air first, and then the shoulders follow. That is a great way for hurting your back. Don't do that. Come up as one. Hips, shoulders, rise as one, and finish the locked out position by humping the bar. So the next tip I'm going to give you is going to help with this as well. Keep a big chest. So if you have a logo on the front of your t-shirt and someone's watching you from the front, they should be able to see your logo the entire time. It should not disappear. So what I mean by big chest is by doing this with your deadlift. Last one, we've got take out the clink. So this is fun. This is not funny. This is a little bit weird. I don't have deadlift bars. Deadlift bars have a real big slack in them before the weight actually lifts up off the ground. So they bend a lot before the weight leaves the ground. I just got general straight bars. So I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to show you. When you shake your bar a little bit, or you just pull it up a little bit off the ground, it clinks. You'll notice it makes a little clinking sound. So what I tell my clients is when they pull themselves down to the deadlift, when they're in the deadlift position, take the clink out of the bar first, and then lift the weight. So take clink out, pause half a second, and then lift the weight. What this does is this creates tension throughout the body. When you are more tensed in your body, when you go to lift, you are stronger and you are safer. Okay, so give those tips a go. There's 9 rough tips, I think, that I've given you. Give them a go. That's it.